Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to tell you how can you go from a YouTube video, convert it into a LinkedIn post with a carousel and images. You will get something at the end like this which has an image but also the content written automatically by extracting everything from YouTube. And not only that, you will also be able to create carousels for those things which I'm going to show you in a second. So let's get started. I'm going to quickly go through a demo of the workflow so you understand what we are going to build, and then let's get into building. Once I click execute workflow, it's going to go ahead and actually check out my own channel and get content from there. After it gets all the content at the top, it downloads the captions and stores all of this information in an Airtable record. Here, the next thing that's happening is it's going to go ahead and message a model to convert it into a LinkedIn post, and after that, generate an image prompt. All of this is going to take a couple of seconds, and then finally it's going to create an image for LinkedIn and then upload this image and update that particular thing in our Airtable also. So in a second or so, I should see two new images created here with the YouTube videos that I've created already. As you can see, it has started creating an image for the LinkedIn. It's going to upload it. This is just a step that is needed for Airtable. I'll explain you when we are building this. And I'm also going to show you how it's going to generate a carousel for the YouTube video, which I believe is probably one of the coolest options that I have. As you can see, it has uploaded the image and has updated it in Airtable also. And you can see we have two new options created here. So I think it created a couple of them multiple times, but can you really create anything in minutes with lovable Claude with a great image available here for us to go ahead and directly post from this? And let me just bring this image at top for you, which really looks pretty cool. If I post this on LinkedIn Tunnel with a great hook that is already created by AI, I can really nail this down. This is the perfect system that I was waiting to create for a very long time, and I'm finally happy that I have it here. Now, the next thing that's happening is it's actually creating a carousel. So the execution is already running in the background. What's happening right now in the background, it's messaging a model and converting that model into a carousel. Okay, so you're going to get an output as a carousel, and then it's going to create every image individually. Wait for 10 seconds because this is the free version of a API that we're using, and then update all of this in the Airtable record so that we can see all the images that are created by our workflow as a carousel. So these will be like 6 images that you can group together and post in a single shot. Let's wait for a second and see what comes out. And here, as you can see, we've got a carousel that is a bit reorganized, but like again, you have the carousel that you can utilize for posting content directly. So even a carousel can be generated, and we're going to do all of this step by step. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to just start by creating a completely new workflow so you guys can really follow along on building this together. So first, I'm going to select a schedule trigger because I want to run this automatically. I don't want to wait for figuring out when it's going to run. I just want to run it every day. And the first thing I'm going to do is very simply, you are going to go and search for YouTube. And once you search for YouTube, you're going to select get many videos as an option. Now, in this, you can get different kind of videos. You can utilize multiple parameters to search for this, but very simply, you're going to select channel ID. You need a specific ID, right? So for that, you can go ahead, search for YouTube, right? Again, and here you can really select get many channels, right? And in this particular place, you can just simply ask username base. So I'm going to put Akshat Bahety, and it will try to fetch different kind of channels which relate to that. I believe I am the only person with that particular username, and you get the ID here. You can do this for every other channel also. Like let's say you want to pick up a popular channel like Mr. Beast. I can just go ahead and search for Mr. Beast, YouTube, right? Pick up this and get the channel ID. Actually, in his URL, right? Like his URL is for me a bit different. I'm going to switch to my main screen so you guys can see this. Right, if you see this, the main URL is actually already has the channel ID available. So it's a hit and a miss, but you can search either ways or whatever works for you. Perfect. So we're going to again, just use my own channel because I know actually what kind of content we are creating from there. So very simply, we're going to use my own channel. So I already have the channel ID here available. I'm just going to copy this so, we can utilize this. And you also see there is so many other details that you get. You can utilize that if you want to, but we're just going to copy my channel ID and come to this part. In here, I'm just going to paste my channel ID and we're going to click on execute step, and we will see that we have got around 25 different items that it created, right? All the videos from the most latest one to the oldest one, we have got 25 items. We're going to come here, and I don't want anything except the latest video. So I'm just going to select anything that I've published since the 20th of September. You can also change this to daily. In actually the workflow that you are able to download from the link in below is something that simply says like, after today, because I wanted to keep running every day. So you don't want it to pick up the old data, and it should just keep running with the latest stuff. So you have the channel ID, you get many videos, and we're going to just quickly tidy this up and then go to the next part. Now the point is here, I want to get captions, right? And for captions, I technically tasked the YouTube data API, which is the official API that they have, right? Again, which has all the descriptions and references and everything, which has everything regarding YouTube, and that's how all of these things work. And we're going to search for captions, and you can see captions is what we need. So here we are going to simply use two options. We're going to use list and then download captions, right? Again, for this to get activated, you need to do a small step before. You need to go to console.cloud.com. So if you haven't set up a cloud project before, you can watch a whole video on how to set up credentials for this, but I'm going to quickly give you a quick rundown. You have to create a new project. So come to console.cloud.com, create a new project. You can see all the projects that I have. You can click on new project and create one, and then you have to go to APIs and services. Once you come to APIs and services, you are going to click on enable APIs and services, and we are just going to search for YouTube data API. I'm going to search, enter, and you can see here is the YouTube data API v3. Click on this and just ensure that this is enabled. I'm already enabled, so I don't need to worry about this, and we are good to go. Now, once that is done, we're going to select what we call an HTTP node. And the reason behind that is because in the YouTube API, they don't allow you to get a transcript or something directly here. At least that's something that they have not made directly here right now available. So what we're going to do is very simply, we're going to select on custom YouTube API call right there and input the URL. Here, you just have to copy two URLs. First is the one that is list. So we are going to copy this particular URL because I want this. I'm going to come back here and everything else. I already have set up my credentials. If you see, we are going to choose predefined credentials. I already have my account created. So if I click on this edit, you can see I've already input the client ID and client secret. If you have not done this before, just go ahead and watch this video above, because else this tutorial will be 1 hour long and I'll have to explain everything. But very simply, you can set this up quickly. Once you have set this up, the only thing you need to do is add properties. You need to do is send a query parameter, and in this query parameter, you're going to input video ID, and in this, you're going to take the video ID from here. So you can see there are multiple video IDs that we have got. We're going to take the video ID from here and put this here. And then we are also going to add one more parameter which is required, is very simply going to be part, and the value is going to be ID. So part and ID. So let me just put this. And once we run this, we should be getting roughly around all the information about that. But one thing I want to do is I don't want 25. I want the limit to be 1 just to test this out. So I'm just going to click on execute step, get one item. And now we will get all this information from here. Now, why is this needed is because from here, we need this caption specific ID that we can paste to actually download the caption. So this is getting caption ID. And we need to create one more just quickly, and you can duplicate this also if you want. Connect this here, and this is going to be download caption. Now, to downloading caption is again a super simple process. Now we have already set everything up. The only thing we need to do is we're just going to take this, put in captions, and after captions, the only thing you need. So you're going to duplicate this. Once you have duplicated this, the only thing you need to do is here we need to paste the ID that we are getting. So this particular ID that we've got, you're going to drag and drop this here. So this is what your final expression will look like. You have this, and ensure that you remove the space, else you'll be getting into an error that doesn't make sense. So you are here, everything is connected, and with this we should probably be able to just go ahead and get it. We can remove this, we don't need the query parameters, and now you will technically, and once you click here, you will technically see that we have downloaded the captions here. Now again, it gets downloaded as a binary file. So we need to do a small step here, is technically extract from file. So search extract from file, select on extract, and very simply, we're going to select extract from text file because it is a text file. And if you click on this, you will see it automatically converts all of this into text. it's there. It's like it's just massively there. This is a massive transcript, and you can now simply we're going to do is select Airtable and create or update a record. The reason I select this is very simply I don't want to create a new record in case I'm fetching older videos or something like that. I just want to update them. So here I have already created a base which is content repurposing agent, and in that we have a table called image post and videos. We're going to select videos, and once video is selected, I'm just going to very simply input all of these details. Now columns to match on, the ID as such is going to be, I don't want this to be the option, I want it to be YouTube URL. So whenever we get a YouTube URL, you see in this particular place we also get the unique URL of that particular video. So let me show you this. So you can see here as we get a video. So we get a video ID also, which is a unique part. So we are going to keep that. That becomes our kind of like indexing in Airtable. So every time we are updating, we are not updating new stuff. We can also update the video title. So we can just come here and I'm going to put in the title. We can put the update date. I'm just going to leave this blank right now. We'll come to the captions in a second. But you also can put video post and image post. I'll show all of this to you in a second. But the only thing that we need is the title and the captions that have been extracted here, and we're just going to paste this here. And now you can select processed yes or no, and the reason this is to filter out in the next step that we are not reprocessing the same data. So we're going to select process no, and I'm going to click on execute step, and in a second or so this would have updated already credentials. So if you see already, because I have the same video updated here, let me just bring you there in a second. So if you can see here, it has just updated this particular one. But if I just delete this to show you guys what we have here, so I'm going to delete this, click on execute step, and it will now go ahead and create a new record right there. So let me bring you back to the table. You can see it has automatically created, can create anything lovable, right? And the captions are also available here. Okay, so perfectly done, and we have all the data available that we needed. Now, technically, the next step is to extend this trigger and start by creating the first image. The next thing that we need to do is very simply search the records. So we are going to see an Airtable, and the reason behind this is because I'm not uploading a video every day, and most people are not. So you need this to run automatically. So you might want to just search the records and find if something is not processed, right? So we're going to select on search the records, and in search the records in this base, we are very simply going to select the same base. We're going to select the same list of videos, and the formula is going to be very simply not, right? And it's going to be not processed equal to no. So it should be no, that means this data should not be processed, because the point is if I keep running this, I'm going to spend a lot of money on tokens, which just does not make sense. So we're going to select this, and we're going to check the formula that I hope I've written it correctly. Just going to confirm that. Perfect. Let's try to execute this. So we should be getting all the records that are not processed. So I believe there will be 2 to 3 items, or exactly 1 item that's not processed till now. So you have 1 item which is not processed, and in case you want to process something again, we can go ahead and see the last column that you have in this base is processed. We're going to come here and input not processed equal to yes. So that means very simply we have the data which is technically only the items that we want to process, and as you can see, this is the same video title and everything else that we have got. Now the next step here is pretty simple. We're just going to message a model, right, again, and that model is going to be again a Claude Sonnet, because again it's just better. So we're going to select Anthropic and come here and then message a model. Here I'm going to select again Claude Sonnet 4.5. It's the newest model and it's pretty good. And here I already have a prompt created, so I'm just going to show you that prompt, and you can input that the same thing. Now prompting everything and getting it perfect did take some time. So if you do like the video and are interested to learn more about AI, please subscribe to this. It really helps me out a lot. So we're going to come here, and in this place we're just going to put an express system message, and this system message is the prompt that technically takes the YouTube title and description, right, and the information that if I have anything else, and converts it into a post specifically for LinkedIn. I have some rules that I wanted for my particular automation. You can go ahead and update this. All of this will be available in the description, so you don't have to worry about it. Here we are just going to simply say come to prompt YouTube description. I'm just going to say video title, and the video title is going to be here. Just drag and drop this here. Perfect. And it's going to be video captions, and then it's going to put the whole captions available here. That's it. Like, that's pretty much it. Like, again, there is nothing else that you need to do here. It's just going to reply in a specific format. But before running this, I'm going to just connect it with another option is to Gemini, right? And here you might be thinking, why am I using two models to generate the image prompt? The reason behind that is I just felt that again, this is just a bit better. Gemini is just a bit better at generating image prompts specifically. Though it's still hit or miss, but the point is you can that's what I found. So I'm going to select message a model here, and again select Gemini 2.5 Flash, and in this again I have a prompt that I've already created, which is pretty simple, again just about how to utilize something. So I'm going to show this to you guys, expand this so you guys can see this. Very simply, I have a specific way on how I want the images to be. I want them to be a bit more flashy and catchy at the same time, right? So I've kept a couple of things. You can edit this as you want, right? And I have the video title and the YouTube transcript coming in from there. So I can connect with that in a second. I'm just going to say message Gemini generate image prompt. So this is just going to generate the prompt, right? And we have this connected, and this is going to generate the actual image. So for this, I'm going to select not Nano Banana, but generate 001. So this is the newest Imagen model. It's pretty good, but also it's a bit expensive compared to Nano Flash. So you can choose either one of them. I've just felt that the results are a bit better with Imagen in the style that you want. So if you just if I come back to you guys here and show you this, the consistency that we have here with images is pretty good. It's very similar to each other, and that means super good prompt adherence, and also looks cool. Again, it looks cool to me. Some of them this is pretty cool. I don't think I like this one comparatively. So there is always going to be some ones that you don't like and some you really like a lot, but it's a choice, right? Again, it's a choice. So I like this, again, this is something pretty good, maybe with a bit more aesthetic, a bit more readable text would have been better, but it's not bad. This is just a bit flashy, but it's again, it's AI at the end of the day. So we have this, we're going to input this in a second, we need to test this. So let's start testing this. I'm going to message this model, and then it's going to be generating an image prompt and generating an image. Let's give it a second. Perfect, we've got the image prompt. I'm going to again, just put this here. So it's going to hopefully take all of this content. As you can see, it has taken the content from there. So it's going to generate the prompt now, and it's going to generate. It roughly takes around 5 seconds to 10 seconds to generate this. We have got the prompt now, and we can just simply take this whole prompt, drag and drop this here, and make Imagen generate this. Let's see what comes out. It keeps getting better and better with Lovable. This is what we have got, right? And it's pretty cool, Imagen model. I think this is around point some cents on the dollar for this model, but it's pretty cool. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is very simply again, now we need to upload this to cloud, because Airtable does not allow you to upload this image directly into there. They need a public URL to download, but that's fine. I found a super amazing service, which is just temporaryfiles.org, TMP files. This is exactly what this website is. I'll put this link below. But all we need is their API, which is absolutely free, and everything gets deleted after 60 minutes. Now, I'm not going to use this for any personal stuff, but given that these are just AI images, which I'm going to make it public, I am completely fine with that. So what I'm going to do is just come here, right, and use an HTTP request node. And what you can do is you can just copy this whole thing and paste it here. I'm going to come here and paste this here, and it will technically, yep, it has automatically pre-populated everything. Now you can see the input data field name. Make sure that this data field, you just copy this, paste this here. The name is file, whatever you want to keep that, that's completely fine. And now once you use this, there is no authentication, there's nothing required. This just uploads an image to cloud. This is just not a super great workaround. You can use a ton of other things to do this, but very simply we're going to click on execute step, and it's going to upload the image to cloud, and then we can use this image to again bring it back to Airtable. So it's just the longest route possible to get it into Airtable, but it is what it is. So till that's happening, I'm just going to add Airtable, and in this I'm going to very simply again select create and update a record, and select the base to be content repurposing agent, It's going to take a second, I believe. Perfect. So we have selected content repurpose agent. I've selected videos, and in this we're just going to simply, instead of videos now, actually because I want to technically store my videos with the carousels, right? Again, that's just the way I've set it up. Again, obviously, like, change the names. I want this as an image post, and in this image post, what I want to do is very simply I want to focus on uploading details about the title. So we are just going to have the post title to be this. This is not going to be an ID. I want this to be a fresh information. So I'm just going to make this create and then post title. So in the post text, we are just going to import, like, again, the message from here. So what's created by Claude, and then the suggested images, technically where we need to do a small bit of, like, again, because we have uploaded this to a URL, we need to do something like this. So you will have a URL and you need a file name. So I'm just going to make this test.png, and you need to replace the temp files with this particular thing. Now all of this is available in the workflow, so just feel free to copy and paste. It just simply changes the temp files domain from just a hyphen, because if you open this, and I'm going to show you what happens if you open this, this is what opens up, right? Again, it does open the image, but it's actually in this web page. So when Airtable is using it, it just opens the web page rather than the image. So to open the image, once you open it, the URL looks a bit different. The URL looks with a DL, so I've already set that up, and you guys just can, like, utilize this. I'm going to do this here. The source video is something that I want to input if I want. So whatever we have got here, we can link this record here. So for that, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to put, like, an expression, which is going to be an array of ID, right? So I'm just going to put this here. I'm just going to drag and drop this here, and that's it. So this is just going to refer my other video. This is more of like a database thing that I've done. You guys can choose whatever you want to do with it. There is no restriction whatsoever. This is just, like, this is just the ancillary parts of the agent. So done. We have the source video, and then processed, yes or no. So I'm just going to, like, again, now I'm going to show you. We're going to click on creating a record, and in a second or so we should see a new image post here, and I believe it's already come up. Yep. Not this one. I think this was still the old one. It's probably going to take a second, and we're going to see that. And I've also created an interface which I really like now with, like, Airtable. You can create your own, like, interfaces, which I think is pretty cool. So as soon as that gets executed, and we will have this available here. So it's still executing. Give it a second, and once it's done, we will have the images available here. But this looks super cool. Okay, so we'll give it a second to execute, and then I'll show you how it looks. So right now it's creating, and voila, we have this here. The new thing, I get it, like, you have a couple of posts like this, but it's here available right here for you to browse. And I love that Airtable plus n8n is like a blockbuster combination. Perfect, awesome. We are on a really good track. Now the only thing left is to actually see how can we generate the carousels. So let's get on that. It's pretty simple, and I'm just going to choose, like, I have chosen a sub workflow rather than in the original workflow that I showed you guys. And the reason behind that is very simply to, like, keep it separate, because I don't like 100 node workflow. So if you see here, it has like a generate carousel, which is a separate workflow, and this is where the whole workflow is, right? So you have, like, a separate workflow available here. For this, I'm just going to do it, keep it simple. I'm just going to bring this whole thing right here in the workflow so that you guys can just follow along and do it in a single piece. We're just going to again choose messenger model, right? I'm going to select OpenAI this time, and we're going to select OpenAI and select messenger model. And the reason that I've chosen, like, different models is not because of just to, like, make this complex, is to make it, like, because these are what things, when I was building this up, I felt like, what worked better for me. It might not work better for you, but that's fine. You have a choice to choose what works for you. I'm just going to select GPT-5 Nano so that I'm not burning out of massive amount of tokens. And here in this, I've already made a massive prompt, so this is just going to be the input, right? So I'm just going to say YouTube title, and the video title is going to be this, right? And we're going to have the video title and the video captions, and that's it. We are just going to put this here. And once that is done, like, the only thing I need to input is like a system message. So I'm just going to select this and select system, and I'm just going to try copy and paste the prompt that I've already created. Okay, so we have connected the model. I've already input YouTube title and video captions. Here, this prompt is something that I've already created, right? So you guys don't need to worry about it. Just like, copy and paste. It's pretty simple. The only thing I would suggest you to change is the brand and the logo, because else you'll keep getting brand as better with AI and you'll be like, why does this exist? But you can go ahead and change that. After that, very simply, like, again, come and we have a code node attached. You don't need to worry about it. The only reason it exists is it allows me to convert this JSON into a bit more structured format. So it starts looking like this. It has like, slide 1, role, prompt design components and everything else. So it's easier for me to just like, navigate this rather than the whole JSON. That's why I've done this. And you can like, if you have a bit more time, you want to do it a bit more yourself, you can go ahead and change that. So yeah. Now I have this loop. This is mostly I keep for testing, but it actually works. So I'm just going to click on execute previous node. I'm just going to click on execute this step. So it's going to execute that. Perfect. So we have all of this running now. We have the 6 items, and here I'm going to come back and again choose Gemini Flash. For this, we're going to choose Gemini Flash because I'm not going to generate 6 images using Imagen. It will take a lot of time and effort and money. So we're going to come here, and then as you can see, we have multiple items here. I'm just going to like, again, just prompt it to create an image pretty simply, like, again. So only thing that we have here is very simply, I have just copied and pasted the format. So you have the format from GPT-5. I have this design in format of like, some things across the carousels need to stay the same. So that's the format, the style, the typography, the colors, and the layout and the logo. And then the headline, sub-headline, and the style guide are separate for every prompt, right? And this is the slide style also, which is separate for everything. So this is what I've just put in, and this is for the JSON role part of the carousel. So you can also remove this. This is just like, an additional thing that I've added. But the prompt is nothing, like this expression is nothing, but everything that you've got from GPT-5, we're just putting it here in a more structured format. That's it. And you can see the output is pretty simple. So I'm just going to choose this to generate an image. And I'm just going to like, technically run this so you guys can see that we are generating an image, and click on play. So it starts generating that. I think it's going to generate 6 images, right? And after this, now I will love to connect this to directly start uploading in the cloud once it's generating, but I would request you to add a wait node, because I faced a couple of issues because it's a free service. Because I was pinging it from the same API, it probably started like, throttling my request. It also could be that because I was testing it a lot, but I will just suggest like, to wait for some time. So wait and connect this. And I think we have 6 images. You guys can see, like, let's see what we have got. The first image did not get generated. I don't know, that's strange, but happens, it's fine. And then you have the other images. So AI managed API keys, really, really good. Some images just did not generate. Is it because that I like, again, input a lot of data, or is it like because I have no idea. It's like the first time this has happened across training, but that's okay. Like, this might happen with you also. So you guys can see, like, the reality is that it can happen with anyone. So even I'm testing this and I'm saying like, why is this happening? But okay, for that I can like, again, just put like, I could have probably waited or something like, instead of like, just running all of them together. But this is a very rare scenario that will happen. So now you can just simply upload these images, and then last step is pretty simple, just like, updating all of these records directly into Airtable, right? Again, and that's the coolest thing that we're going to do here is just create and update a record in Airtable. So I'm going to connect this here, right? And I will have to technically regenerate this because I need all the 6 images. This is going to cost me a lot of tokens, but that's fine. All for you guys, all for you guys. So please go ahead and click that subscribe button. It takes a second. Go ahead, guys, until you're getting this done. Perfect. So we have this here generating an image, and it's still like, again, there's some issue that I believe is coming in, right? Again, back in, like, again, it's generating, but let me see. I want to see, like, again, what is the input for the first item? Is this, so the input is still text, and like, again, I have no idea why it's not generating the first image, because if you try to download and upload this, it will just cause a ton of errors. So I don't know if it recreated or something, but yeah, it's fine. We're going to test this out. It's still executing. You can see it's still executing the workflow. So let it execute. Sometimes n8n is just slow. Okay, so let's let it run. But again, I'm going to spend so many tokens on this. If you really are enjoying the video, just hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. Okay, and the last step that you need to do with this here is very simply like, instead of this record ID, I am just going to simply like, again, delete this for a second so I can show you guys how to connect the record ID directly. And in this, we're going to put the record ID from the first part that we searched about. So we're just going to like, so go to the search records and you're going to update that particular record ID also. Now again, that's just what we're going to leave this here. And I'm going to like, disconnect this, connect this back, and here we're going to just have like, upload an images to cloud, right, as the node. And we're going to quickly try to test this. So we're going to wait for around 10 seconds, I believe, right, again. So it's going to wait for that, and then we're going to upload these images to the cloud. And then you can just like, link all of this together. And the last thing, while this is running, what you can do is you can connect all of this looped over items and then just connect this all together. And that is pretty much it. Like, again, we'll keep that running so that it takes a second. I think like, GPT, like Gemini is going to block me today while working. But the idea is like, this is how your whole automation works, and you get amazing posts like this, which are all ready in a single place. And the only thing that you need to do here, I just click on interfaces and Airtable generates an automatic interface. So you don't even need to do anything here. You get cool posts like this where you can generate and do images. With that, I would just like to say, if you enjoyed the video and if you really had fun watching it, please go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're someone who's interested to actually build a side hustle in AI, go ahead and check out our community. We are really helping people get started on their AI journey. With that, I would love to see you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye.